today with me is Captain Bhate, and as I have told you before, as I had announced before, about the new section of my channel, wherein I will be talking with few of my gurus and few of the people who I know have done great work in their life, have achieved some success in their work of field, and they will be sharing their experience with you and also the knowledge they have gained in all these years, and they that will help you in some way. And also we will be talking about how the experience which they gained by traveling around. So today with me is Captain Bhate, who is my guru and my guide in my career. So to introduce about himself, it will be a long session, but I would like Captain himself to introduce him, give an introduction about himself. Okay.
So, name is Sanat Bhate, and I'm born in 1944. I am from a regional language school, vernacular school. So, proficiency in English came later. In 1962, I joined training ship Dufferin in Bombay, and that's a 2 years training in Dufferin. It's about merchant navy. And then I joined in 1964, I joined Scindia Steam Navigation Company, which was the premier Indian company, and they only had cargo ships, general cargo ships. I worked with them till 1972, and I left them as chief officer in 1972. I wanted a change in my career, so from a general cargo ship, I wanted to go on tankers. So I joined P&O Bulk Shipping Division in London, where I had to work again as second officer because to take the responsibility of the chief officer's rank, I needed to have a tanker experience. So I worked with them for next 6 years, and in British premier companies, tanker companies, I was the first non-white person to become chief officer. From there, in 1976, I left them and went to an American company, Cargill International, and there I was for the next 13-14 years. After 2.5 years as chief officer there, I became one of the first colored people to become captain with all European officers and crew. So my main experience and exposure came from this American company. When they shut down their operations, I went to a company called Klaveness, which is a Norwegian company based in Oslo. I worked with them for next 3 years on straight bulk carriers. And in 1992, I joined TK Shipping, TK Tankers, based in Canada, Vancouver, Canada. And of course, I joined them as captain, and I retired from them in 2012 at the age of 67 and a half. So 23 years in TK Shipping. That's about the experience at sea, which is exactly 50 years of sailing experience. But during this period, for initial stages, I studied Islam for 1 year, Christianity for 8 years, under Immaculate Heart of Mary in Baltimore, Maryland, and I started learning about all the countries that I was visiting. But mainly, I was interested in our country's defense problems. So I started having a lot of reading military affairs, logistics, and for 10 years I studied India-China problem. Because in 1962 we have had a war where we lost very badly. So I started studying India-China problem. Of course, India-China, India-Pakistan, this one. So special studies were carried out regarding some nations. That is history, geography, political systems. So mainly all the countries that directly affect us. So it's of course all our neighborhood countries, Pakistan, China, then Japan, on this side Japan, on the other side Russia, America, England, France, Germany because of the Second World War also affected us. So these are some of the major countries, some of the countries which had colonies in our countries. So we had some Dutch colonies, some French colonies, some Portuguese, early Spanish colonies which they left later on. So this kind of studies were made. I traveled extensively all over the world, so it also helped me. I was in Russia for some time. I was married in Russia for about 3 years, 4 years. So I have very good experience and understanding of communist systems because that was Soviet Union. And with that experience, all these studies were carried out 10 years. I traveled all across the India-China border from Ladakh to Arunachal Pradesh and beyond. And in that, Indian Army helped me in visiting the places which normally a common person could not visit. And in my personal capacity, I have been an outdoor person, so I've done a lot of trekking, long distance bicycling, Pune, Bombay several times. In old days, of course, the cycles were normal cycles. Yes, rally. I had a rally, 22-inch rally cycle, and no gears, nothing. But I did Pune, Karwar once. I also did Pune, Rajasthan and back once. Then in Europe, I did motorcycle riding, most of the East European countries. In those days, all these East European countries, when I was making the trips, they were all communist countries. So Poland, Czechoslovakia, Romania, Bulgaria, Hungary, and of course Yugoslavia many times. Reason being that when I was sailing with this American company and later on again in TK Shipping, which is a Canadian company, we had lots and lots of Yugoslav offices, Croatians, Serbians. So we had lots of friends in Croatia. So I made three trips to Yugoslavia. So came to know all the European culture, mainland European culture, and varied histories of different countries and their cultures. Then initially from the training ship to the time that I was 26, 27 years old, I did some boxing, which I must say I wasn't very proficient. Most of the time I lost. But I was a featherweight side, so you can't get badly damaged in featherweight category. So I was never knocked down. I lost most of the time. I boxed in England, I boxed in Russia, I boxed in America. We don't have such boxing clubs in India, so I never had to fight except on the training ship. But that 7-8 years of boxing, though I wasn't very proficient and I can't call myself a boxer, it tested your spirit. What you learn there is to take a punch. Most of the people, when you are doing martial arts or something, you're not getting hurt as hurt. So you have in your mind that you will hit, but taking a punch and taking a hit and still hold your head
in the game
and think is something which a lot of people can't do it. They lose cool. That's it. Because the real fighting experience is not there. In one of the videos that we made before, I have mentioned that in India at least, most of the martial arts are not, which are taught, karate, taekwondo, wing-chun, jujutsu. So these are not full contact. And as a result, you don't really learn fighting. As against that, judo will be full contact. We don't have jujutsu, I've not seen.
Very few.
And at a low level. But judo is full contact and can be used. Indian wrestling, fantastic. I think that's the best that we have in our culture. From north to south, east to west, whosoever is in that, they are real fighters and character building. Wrestling is the king's game world over. In American universities, it is a compulsory schools. It is a compulsory sport. Unfortunately, I never had a chance to do wrestling. These are young people's game, and you better go there right from the beginning. Boxing in India so far was very poor. We just started making some headway in boxing, but when I was young, there was not much boxing. So, full contact is only boxing, jujutsu, judo, this kind of games, which I started thinking of studying at age of 46. And from the age of 46 till today, I'm into stick fighting. It's arnis eskrima, which is the yes. You have this kind of martial arts in Philippines and Indonesia, Malaysia, this side. And their specialty is the flow. So in the West, people who do all kinds of different martial arts, they also take some background into this kind of martial arts, arnis eskrima, silat, because of the flow. So I started this at the age of 46, and it is continuing now. I'm 76, 77. So last 30 years I'm into it. and it has helped me a lot in my life and in my career. So this is all the introduction is about.
And you also have an influence of art from your family.
Yes, my mother has been one of the doyens of Kathak, classical Kathak dance, and so is my wife. And because of my mother's efforts and that of my wife, today for classical Kathak, Pune is the most prominent city in India.
You may say epicenter now.
Epicenter of Kathak classical dance in India is Pune. There are more Kathak dance schools and students and actual dancers in Pune than any other city in India. So we have had classical dance, classical music, North Indian classical music, and instruments of all kinds. Though I can't play or dance, but we have the family background is in this. Mother also wrote a lot of books. So it's a family of teachers and doctors. Thank you. That's the introduction.
I would like to make a statement here. Like he is a very special man, a special person in my life and in many of the people I know. I have been in contact. I have been learning from him and all the others. So the thing what you told before about the study of history, study of borders, the study of Europe, all of this you have done on your own expense.
Yeah.
And so that is a very apart from your career, going into something else, studying it, and having such a wide variety of knowledge. I have not rarely, he's the only person I have seen till now. I have met. So he also has a very good experience in architecture. So I hope I could put in some videos of the farmhouse like Varasgaon. So I hope in future we will be showing it to you. This is it. I will finish this here, and we will take it over to the main part wherein he is speaking.
What he's talking about is as I was retiring, I bought some land and I started on my own building buildings, constructions, landscaping, and horticulture, and of course through trial and error. And whatever I had seen in 50 years of travel all over the world, I started constructing things, and now a lot of architectural schools visit to see as to how beautifully it has been done. And this effort has been going on for the last 20 years now, and
It's still going on.
is still going on. At present, I am building 3 houses over there for my students.
Yes.
And for that, we are not taking any engineers or architects. We are doing it on our own.
And also there is a special pottery furnace which is being made for
Yes,
one of
just
our
in
friends.
last 6 months, I built a very large furnace for potters. Which can be used on gas or on wood fire. So it's a very special design and it's quite large. It's maybe one of the largest ones in Maharashtra, in our state. Besides this, I've been always teaching people not only mercantile marine subjects, but how to lead life, how to be successful in any chosen career, and how to be a good Indian.
Yes.
So I have lots of people of varied backgrounds, varied nationalities as students. We have Russians, we have Yugoslavs, we have Georgians, British, some Americans as students, and of course majority of them Indians, because I want the Indians to become better and better and better. So in our group there are doctors, engineers, lawyers, IT professionals,
And some young students.
and of course some beautiful young ladies.
How can we miss
And everybody, the idea is that they become confident, they do well in their chosen careers, and whatever knowledge or experience I have to pass on to
the next generation?
the next generation, because unfortunately when you go to schools or colleges, they teach you about particular subjects that you have chosen, but you come out of it and how to have correct thought process, that is still not taught. So people try to go to do MBA, which is very nice, and you learn a lot of things over there. But a lot of people can't afford it, and time has passed and can't devote time for that. So I have been able to help doctors to become better doctors, engineers to become better engineers, and in general how to think, how to apply our knowledge and experience in anything that you do in life. So we have a polity of very nice large group of more than 100, 200 men, women all over the world. It's a large family. Thank you.
Thank you. So I will stop it here. The introduction is long, and I hope everything we have covered here.
Yeah.
And if we miss something, we will be covering it ahead in the videos which we have recorded. And one by one, we will be putting our experiences in different field, his experience in different field, and further we will be also looking for having a question answer session wherein people can ask questions and we can